10 sim racing tips for free. Yes, in this video, I'm going to give you 10 of the most helpful sim racing tips for beginners. Now, I do a lot of coaching in Gran Turismo 7, and I often do it here at Monza, and I've picked up so many little things that help beginner drivers especially. So if you're watching and you play Gran Turismo 7, for example, in the B, C, D ranks or any other form of sim racing, and you want to get better, I'm going to show you in this video 10 amazing tips. If at any point this helps you out, please just give me a like, give me a subscribe, check out some of my other videos, and if you want some more bespoke tips, just go to sim.doctor in your browser and you can contact me there for bespoke coaching. But I'm going to go into Monza Turn 1 here, and I'm going to show you what a lot of people do. So if you're coming into Monza Turn 1 like this, you might think this is absolutely okay, but I can tell you this is already a mistake at Monza. What you need to do at corners, especially like Monza where the track is actually quite tight, is you need to maximize the track limit. I see a lot of people complaining about their exits, saying, oh, I always get bad exits. It all starts from the entry, I can assure you. So if you come into the first corner like this, you are coming in so tight, you're going to make it so tight on the entry, on the exit there. Whereas if you come in here, you see they've even sort of widened the actual entry side and left-hand side with the AstroTurf. You're able to take in a nice angle here and then open this corner and take a nice angle out. You see where the rubber is on the curbs. Whereas I can guarantee if you take in a narrow way in, you'll be all over here. So make sure when you're driving, try and stick close to the white lines when you're going into braking zones. Now, another thing I see people do here, for example, at Curva Grande, I see people just staying all the way over here. Like, they'll just do Curva Grande like this. You're just giving back time on the table. Every second you spend on a racetrack, you should be thinking about how to minimize the time, and that means at Curva Grande, you want to wash out a little bit to carry the speed at the beginning, but then you do want to hit an apex and follow this around. So make sure you're always taking the shortest part around the racetrack where you're not grip limited, if that makes sense. See, a lot of people just like way off the optimal line there, so definitely go and check that out. Tip number 3 is braking markers. I see a lot of people using shadows as braking markers. Do not do it. It worked in Gran Turismo 7. Gran Turismo Sport does not work in Gran Turismo 7 because the shadows will often move around. So you cannot use one of these shadows as a braking marker. Going into Monza, usually you're using a combination of the 150 board, which will not change, or the path, which will definitely not change. If you use one of these braking markers, they can still change. And in an endurance race, if someone does that, then you've no longer got your 100. So try and use braking markers that are not going to change. Please do not use the shadows. Now, tip number 4 is track limits. I see so many people going around this chicane like all the way like this. You have to come to an absolute crawl to do that. Track limits are there to be used. Track limits are there to be abused until you get a penalty. That's just the way it is. Track limits on this corner here actually allow you to go over the white lines. As long as it's not over the curb, you can actually go over the white lines there. And same here. As long as you're not over the curb, you can actually go over the white lines. So make sure you're using track limits. Now we're going to go onto the back straight here, as I'm going to let you know about tip number 4, I believe. I might have counted wrong, but I've got all the tips, so we're going to keep going through. It might be a little bonus tip for you there. So coming up, Lesmo 1, kind of coming to Lesmo 2, second Lesmo, aka the Italian Degna 2. And as we go onto the back straight here, again, I see a lot of people exiting and immediately going to the right. They do not unwind the steering. If you're coming all the way to the right here on exit, you are going to be applying so much lock, you're just going to be scrubbing speed. It's something that you have to do in karting. You have to let the wheel sort of unwind as you exit the corner. Keep the wheels as straight as you can while still making the corner, and you're going to get maximum speed. Right, as we go down the back straight, this is tip number 5, gearing. If you're doing manual gears, you kind of need to know where to shift. Some cars need short shifting, some cars need shifting at the rev limiter here, some cars need shifting over the limit. A lot of the people I'm coaching at the moment are using PSVR2, which means that you have only the in-car HUD, which can be different to the HUD that you get here on the top. But you need to make sure that you're shifting in the right place, or you can just do automatic. Automatic often isn't actually that much slower, to be honest with you. Now we're going to go around here, going to go onto back straight. I'm going to talk about overtaking and defending. Overtaking and defending for tip number 6 is really simple, I have to say. Normally, if you want to defend, you want to be on the inside of the track for the next corner. Now, if you're going through a series of corners, you might just play some chess and work it backwards. But generally, this is a defensive line into Parabolica here. If you're on the outside, you're just going to let someone dive up the inside. If you leave even a half a car's width here, I'm telling you, someone's going to go on the inside. I will go half on the grass to get on the inside here. So if you're going to defend properly. Now, if you're on the outside here, for tip number 6, there's a few... Is it 6 or 7? My word. There's a few different things you can do. Either when that car's on the inside, you can try and brake a little bit earlier and cut them back, or you can try and brake late and hang it around the outside. Now, I'll give you a little secret here. Parabolica, really nice corner to go around the outside. There is so much grip on the outside here. You can take a really nice line and get a nicer exit. So Parabolica, I would actually not recommend doing the cutback because they might be really concerned about that. So you can go here. Right, we're going to go again into turn number 1, and I'm going to show you another thing people do wrong, and I'm doing it right now to illustrate. Can you see what it is yet? If you can't see what's wrong at the moment on the screen, then you're probably doing this, and you probably need that help. Have a look at my throttle indicator. That throttle indicator is doing a little bit of throttle. What that means is when I go into a corner, there's going to be a little throttle and I'm going to understeer. So I'll show you here as we go into turn 1. There are going to be moments in turn 1 here where you want to be completely off the throttle. By the way, if these are helping you, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Make sure you check out my other videos. Hit me up at sim.doctor if you want some bespoke coaching. We often get people 2-3 seconds faster. It's genuinely insane. Now, if I come in here to turn 1, you can see I'm here taking a wide line away in. At this point here, I want to be off the throttle. It's all about rotation. If I have a little bit of throttle in, I'm gonna understeer by a small amount, but I'm still gonna understeer, and I'm gonna be in a world of trouble here. I'll have to go more to the right, and I'm gonna come to the left. And if I've still got throttle in, I'm gonna understeer again, and that's often how people end up here on the right-hand side. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure, check your inputs. If you want a controller as well, make sure you're not sort of leaving your finger on the throttle. You can actually calibrate your wheels. Quite a nice calibration bit in GT7 now. Now I'm going to give you tip number 9, I believe. Jesus, this is going quickly through the tips. Which is when you're braking in a straight line, brake fully. Brake fully. The amount of people I see coming in a straight line and they just don't brake is absolutely insane. When I say don't brake, they're kind of braking like that. If you're in a straight line, let's use purple sector. Let's use the maximum brake. Okay, that's my first tip. Tip number 9. Tip number 10. I don't think it's tip number 10, but tip number 10 I'm going to say is as you come into the corner here, what we want to do is I'm going to simulate here. If you're on the brake, as you start turning in, your tires only have 100% grip at any time. They can only do so much between stopping in a straight line and giving you grip to turn. So as you turn, you need to bleed off the brake. Have a look at the red dot under the KCR logo there, and you can see straight line 100%. As I start to turn, just instinctively come off. That is called trail braking, and you can use it to manipulate the car in different ways. So if I come in here, I can brake, I can trail brake. Rather than kind of coming off in a straight line and having to turn, I can actually do a bit of turning with the braking as long as I'm not using 100%. So I believe that is tip number 10, but I want to give you another tip, which is how to deal with punters. Actually, this is a really difficult tip. I do have a secret technique. If I've shown it to you, let me know in the comments, but I do have a secret technique that makes it impossible for you to get punted. And in fact, I can't show it here because I need 2 people to do it. So that will come in another video. If this helped you, you know what to do. I really hope it did. 10 beginner tips for beginners in sim racing. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all. I'll see you next time.